All right, what is going on today, chat? Noah, Greg, Klee, welcome for episode 70 of Grade Review. It's always an exciting day when we hit a major milestone of the channel, so welcome in, guys. If you guys are new here, welcome. Make sure to say hello if you guys are new. It's always nice to see new people come through in the stream. Unreal, welcome. Thanks for liking the live. Appreciate you. I think we're just going to get right into it. We got a lot to go over. Got a lot of fun announcements to make for episode 70, so we are just going to get right into it. So my name is Galaxia Gaming, and this is what we like to call Grade Review. So every Wednesday, starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we like to review cards, and I get to help you as the community who have submitted their pictures in our Discord to give what I think your cards may get as a PSA grade. It's a completely free service that I offer to the community to kind of help us navigate these trying times of grading. In addition, there are things like eBay, where eBay will be offering very soon the ability to grade cards that you purchase online. So this is the gold rare for tag team with the Garchomp and the Tina. So we are going to be doing that today. So first up, we have our boy Frazzle, who is a Discord subscriber. So thank you again for that support. Excuse me. So we're going to do this. We're going to review this Garchomp Giratina GX tag team. Tag teams are becoming very popular at the moment. So we're going to see what this bad boy would get as a PSA grade. And if you guys want to weigh in too on what you guys think this card would get as a PSA grade, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to help each other out. So let's take a look. So centering on this bad boy is pretty good. So centering is good. And for cards like this, and I'll use a little bit of a magnifier tool here. So the centering, we're going to be looking at this kind of gold border here. It's a little bit different because this is a ultra rare, so it's a little bit more gold than anticipated, but we've got a little bit on that right side, a little bit on that left side in terms of the border. So we basically just measure those, and we want them to be as 50-50 as possible. And so far it looks like it, so that's good. Corners look good, so we look at the top right, top left, bottom right. So all four corners look great from what I can tell from this picture. So the surface on the front looks really good. And on the back, so Japanese cards specifically, we're kind of looking for centering. We're kind of looking right where it starts to get a little bit blurry and kind of go out. So that's where we're measuring the centering. This one looks really good. No issues there. Corners look great. Surface looks good. Maybe a little bit of something stuck here. So this is a good thing to be aware of, where stuff like this, if it is left on there, as of now, PSA will not treat any of this. So make sure to wipe that off. You don't want your surface grade to get compromised or damaged in any way. Yeah, Frazzle, I'm having a good day, man. I'm having a great day. And you're perfect timing. We're looking at your card right now. So yeah, I'll probably just get rid of that. Make sure that score is as good as it can be. Surface is great. So honestly, I think this is a pretty strong 10 contender from what I can tell. This one is definitely good for that. And then on to the next one. Mike, what's going on, brother? Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. If this is your first time, make sure to say hello. We'd love to have you here. Right now we're going over grading some cards that Discord members have submitted for a little bit of some, I guess, a second opinion before they send these cards off to PSA. The service is absolutely free and always will be, but these are some Discord supporters that have subscribed, so we're reviewing their cards first. So welcome in, guys. Welcome in. All right, so Magikarp. So this card in English is extremely difficult to 10. Just got the Twitch notification. Awesome. So this card in English is a very hard card to grade as a 10. Japanese quality is so much better than the States. So let's measure. So on first glance, this left side looks a little bit thicker. So this is a good opportunity to show you guys how to measure centering if you haven't seen it before. So how we measure centering on cards, this is not the end-all be-all method, but it gives us enough to work with here, just so you guys can have an idea. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our ruler here and put this big hash right on the left edge. We're going to go across and we're going to count. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 on that left side. And you can do this with a transparent ruler, and there's also apps out there. I haven't really explored the apps per se. Because I don't go for black labels, so I don't really need it. So I just use it. Honestly, for me, I just use a transparent ruler. And so on the right side, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that. So we have 4.5 tick marks on the left side, 4 on the right. So how we calculate the ratio, so when people say 55-45 or 60-40 or whatever, this is what they mean. So we add 4.5 plus... sure you guys can see this. So 4.5 plus 4, so that's the left side plus the right side. We get 8.5. So now we just divide one of those sides. So 4.5 divided by 8.5, and we get around 53. So 0.53, or this is going to be roughly 53 on the left and 47 on the right, which means that it's within that 55-45. So even though at first glance, well, we're seeing this left side's a little bit thicker than the right, on paper, it should be within that 10 centering. So far, so good. There you go, NG. Yeah, your patience finally paying off, my friend. Yo, John, what's going on? Welcome, welcome, guys. So yeah, centering on this Magikarp is really good. Corners. So I just do it based off of just like a rough estimate, Jojo. That's why I like to always kind of make that kind of disclaimer, to always measure it in person. So I just, at the end of the day, I just use a ruler. But these tips are good for if you're looking for grading plays on eBay, because sometimes sellers won't be so nice. So, because eBay has just announced not too long ago that you can actually buy a card on eBay and send it directly to PSA for grading. So a lot of these tips will carry over. CC, thank you for the follow. How far are you going to get today? So I posted the queue for this stream, and I honestly can't remember who I left off on, but I have that in there if you want to take a look at that. Unfortunately, I can't, NG, because I've had too many people in the past switch cards on me, and it kind of ruins the order. So the surface on this looks pretty good. So far, so good on that. Yeah, I had a lot of people abuse it, honestly. If too many people didn't abuse it, I would say okay, but it was getting pretty crazy. So I had to, unfortunately, prevent that from happening. People ruin it for the rest of us, unfortunately. So the centering on this is good. Can you please shout out the magnifying tool? Yes, so the magnifying tool that you're seeing on stream right now is the Chrome extension called Magnifying Glass Hover Zoom. So that's all that is. So corners look great. Centering looks great. I would say the only thing that I see on this card is that you may have a little bit of a white speck on that top right side. Probably just wipe that off. And a little bit what appears to be 2 bits of whitening here. If we're kind of take a look at the bottom here. And I don't know why you're not zooming in. There we go. So right here is kind of where I'm seeing. So boom and boom. So just double check those parts on the bottom left corner. Those might be points of whitening. If they are, then you got to kind of take that with what you will. But if those are 2 points of whitening, it probably won't get the 10 since there are 2 that are predominant. But the rest of the card in terms of centering, in terms of whitening, looks really good. Roro, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. So just keep an eye out on those. So if those aren't like crazy bits of whitening, I'd say you probably get a good shot at a 10. But if they are, then most likely you would not get the 10. Preston and Mikey, thank you guys for the follow. Mikey, and if anyone else is wondering, let me go over how to submit your cards real quick. It's a little bit of a process, so just bear with me. So I will go over how you guys can submit your cards for a future grade review. So if you are watching me on Twitch, which I am also streaming on, if you guys want to check me out on Twitch, I have a little bit of a different layout. It gives you a little bit more visibility on the cards. So if you want, the link is in the description over on Twitch. The link is in the bio if you're watching me on TikTok. Once you click the link in my bio, you're going to go to my link tree. Next, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon. Once you're at the Discord, you're going to go to the grade review channel and post your cards in there. It's completely free. Just make sure to review the pinned messages on how to properly submit your cards. And since it is free, and always will be, it is first come, first serve, and I'll only review 5 cards per person per stream. You can submit as many as you want, but I'll only review the first 5. However, if you want your cards assessed faster, along with some other perks, there is priority grade review that can be obtained by subscribing on the Discord. So currently, subscriptions start at $4.99 a month. And again, in addition to priority grade review, there's also monthly Discord giveaways and some other perks as well. So that's how you do it. Can we submit grade cards that we are interested in regrading? How do we submit cards? So Preston, I just went over that, so hopefully you caught that. But second, for cards that are actually graded already, it kind of goes down to, it's difficult to really assess if the scratch is on like the case or on the glare. And there's a lot of factors that ultimately make it a little bit too difficult to review on stream. However, you're more than welcome to submit those pictures in the grade review channel still, and the community has helped other community members out. And I don't mind doing it if I have the time off stream. But definitely submit that in the grade review channel regardless, if you want to have other people take a look at it. Is there a whole different channel? There's multiple different channels for subscribers, John. Yeah, I have, like, there's a VIP chat. Subscribers get discount codes for website, for my online store. I kind of post more like what I'm looking for personally in the market that you guys can look out for, and a bunch of other stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff that's going to be coming down the line here in the coming weeks. So there's a lot more to it than just priority grade review. But yeah, you get a ton of other stuff. Mike is a subscriber. Frazzle is a subscriber. So they can probably speak on that a little bit more and not just coming from me. So yeah. All right, next up is this. Honestly, don't know what set this. I've seen this set like maybe a small handful of times. But we're going to look at it. It's a Bulbasaur. So let's take a look. A little bit thicker on the bottom than it is on the top. D. Smith and Fast 821. Thank you for the follows. Appreciate that. Deck stamp. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was like some weird exclusive. Like I knew it wasn't the vending series, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So centering on the bottom is a little bit thicker. Did you sub on Discord or did you sub on TikTok? Discord's where you have to sub. But I can't. My layout for like watching Twitch or TikTok is a little bit scuffed. But just shoot me a DM if you need help on Discord. So the centering on this a little bit thicker on the bottom. And as far as the corners go, there's a little bit of whitening here on the top right corner. A little bit more predominant whitening on the top left as well. Left edge is good. A little bit. So basically all 4 corners have some degree of whitening. So right off the bat, with the amount of whitening on all 4 corners, we're probably already at like a PSA 6. We're kind of out of that like near mint range, starting to go into light play territory. And on the back, let's see. Wow, my allergies are kicking my ass today. We have a little bit of whitening on the top right. Let's see. A little bit more predominant whitening on that left side. And some, again, this stuff can be easily cleaned, guys. Like the stuff that's kind of stuck on here. It's pretty straightforward. Just wipe that off with like a microfiber cloth or something like that. Not too bad. A little bit of whitening on that right side. But yeah, I would say this is probably in that like LP plus range. It's really just the front that's kind of giving you most issues because the back, like honestly, is pretty good. I was actually expecting it to be a little bit worse. So it's probably on, again, more on the LP plus. But I would still say, you know, it probably would go between like a 7 or a 6. But I think just due to the fact that the whitening's more predominantly on the front, I'd probably lean more towards that being the 6, because that eye appeal will kick in because it is on the front. Especially with it being off center on the front and whatever. I would say if this is on the back, you might have a better chance of getting the 7, but I'd still say this is probably get a 6, in my opinion. All right, next up is the Ivysaur. I think it's a VHS promo set from. Oh, okay. Honestly, I've probably seen these set symbols probably one other time, and I genuinely couldn't remember what it was from. Matt, thank you for the follow over on TikTok. Appreciate that very much. If you guys are enjoying yourself so far, I'd always appreciate some likes over on TikTok. Help me with the almighty algorithm. So I appreciate that very much. So the Ivysaur, same thing. It's kind of like from the orientation. So it's a little bit thicker on this bottom part or on the right if we were to kind of flip it normal. It's a little bit thicker on that right side. Probably just shy of that 55-45 if I were to measure. Bottom right corner looking pretty good. This left edge, or this right edge looks good. Top looks okay. Top left corner looks okay. A little bit of whitening on that bottom left corner. So far we're kind of like in that 8 range just to start on the front. If that is just like a little bit of whitening on that front. So bottom left from this perspective. But aside from that, I'm not really seeing anything else. So centering is good. Again, this is some stuff that we can clean off on the back. We have 1 point of whitening on the top right corner. Top edge is good. I would say that the surface looks really good. But it almost looks like, I don't know if it's supposed to look like that, but I don't know why I said that like 5 times in a row. This kind of looks sun faded a little bit. I don't know if that's meant to be like that, but actually I'm curious. I'm looking at your Bulbasaur, and it might be that way. Yeah, they must just be that way. The queue is posted in the Greater View channel, NG. Right now I'm at Frazzle. So yeah, I'd probably say, you're probably within the 8 range if this is in fact whitening here by the 22 set symbol. Because I don't see any other whitening on the edges other than that. So I'd probably say, 8 would be my guess if the whitening plus the little bit of off center on that from right to left. And now the big boy himself. Big boy Venusaur. So let me just zoom out just a tad so you guys can see the entire card. Center on this one is much better compared to the Bulbasaur and the Ivysaur. So as it's evolving, it's getting better centering, so that's good. Corners look good. Oh, nice, Frazzle. Yeah, edges look good. Corners look good from what I can tell. Surface looks clean. No issues there from what I can see, so we'll flip it over. Okay, so we got, again, some spot check stuff here towards that top right. Probably get a little rid of that little bit of whitening there right where the tip of my mouse is. Little bit of more predominant whitening, and I'm going to mark this a little bit so you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing. So let's take a look. No one paid me to do this, Beg. So let's see. So we have whitening here. We have whitening here, here, here. Here, and the only thing that I don't know, Frazzle, is I don't know if this is anything. So like so if I to kind of highlight this section, I'm not too sure if that's a bend or a crease. So just kind of keep that in mind, because just the way that the shadow is looking. So I'm just a little bit nervous about that, but you might be able to check me on that. And again, this was the little bit of cleaning that I was talking about, that white speck there. But aside from that, the surface looks really good. Not really noticing anything out of the ordinary. So I'd say with those bits of whitening, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, a pretty big chunk here on that top edge. And what appears to be, so here's kind of the dilemma. So if this is a crease right here, I would say, you're probably looking at like mod play, because it's definitely not heavy play. But a crease like that would definitely bring you down to at least a 5. If that is there. If that's not there, if it's just like part of the texture or whatever, it's really just the whitening that would kind of hold you back, kind of in my notes here. So you'd probably be in like roughly like this, like a really strong 7, very weak 8 range, because I have seen 7s that have been much worse than this. I can tell you that almost immediately. But I just don't know, in the sense that I want to say that if this wasn't here, like that top part, if it wasn't as like kind of clumped together, I would say that would be a little bit easier call to make as an 8. But conservatively, with the amount of whitening up there, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 other circles of whitening on the back, I'd probably be more comfortable saying that it's a 7, in my honest opinion. A little bit, it's a very strong 7, but again, if this stuff wasn't here on that top edge, I think it would be a lot better, in my honest opinion. So that is your review, my friend. So pretty strong cards. I think your Ivysaur out of all of them. So kind of looking back, I think your Garchomp is in really good shape. I think that was a possible 10. Same thing with I think I said with the Magikarp as well. Unless the whitening on the bottom left corner was present. If it is, it'd probably get more of a 9. The Bulbasaur was pretty like on like the 7 range, I believe. The Ivysaur was around an 8, and then the Venusaur, if that crease, or if this is an actual crease on the bottom here, that'd probably be like around a 5, but if it isn't, it'd probably be a 7, only because in this section here is a little bit too much whitening for my liking. So that's kind of just my general thoughts on that. So, but thank you for submitting those. If you guys are enjoying yourselves, let me know. At the end of the day, I am streaming every Wednesday to help the community out, answer some questions, kind of navigate these crazy trying times. So the more questions, the better. I like to kind of give my insight on it. Is it a myth that PSA tends to grade lower on older cards? I think that it's not entirely true, but it's not entirely false either. So what I mean by that is they definitely take the card itself more into consideration. If it's like a rare card, like that is true. There's been evidence of that to be kind of proven, right? Like if you're grading like a Shining Charizard or a Gold Star or stuff that's like really like has a lot of eyeballs on it in terms of popularity, they tend to be a little bit more stingy with their assessments. But I will also say too that I think a lot, in my personal opinion, I feel like a lot of people, as the hobby becomes more readily available and as the hobby lends itself to give more opportunities for folks to grade their cards, I think in turn, a lot of people don't know how to properly assess their cards to be graded. So a lot of people tend to be disappointed because they say, hey, my card was, I opened it up out of a pack, went directly into a sleeve or directly into my binder, and then it got like a 7 or a 6 because they probably didn't take care of it, or they put it in a 3-ring binder or whatever. So that's kind of where my opinion of that comes from. So there's definitely sides, but I lean more towards, I think some people just don't know exactly what to look for when pre-grading, and I think they have a very high expectation of a really good grade. So, all right, Mike. So you are up next, my friend. Now I wonder if that is a treated crease. I mean, I hope not. I mean, for your sake, I hope not. It just looked a little odd to me. That's all, Frazzle. It just looked a little odd. Only because of the lighting, in my honest opinion. All right, Mike, you are up, my friend. With the Gunk Boys. The Gunk Boys themselves. So let's take a look. You'll have to tell me if you decide to send. I forgot what card it was. You said you were sending it for your. I think for your wife. Was it the Cubone? I'm not too sure, but you'll have to let me know what that gets. So centering on this guy is pretty good. Let's see. Centering's good. Corners are good. Surface is good. Oh, gotcha, Mike. The back. The back looks okay. Centering is good. The only thing that I see is this right here on that top left corner. Not too sure if that's whitening, not too sure if that's the image or whatever, but that I'd probably just double check. If that is present, it looks a little bit too predominant to kind of sneak by what I like to call, again, if you guys are new here, like a long distance 10, but I think it's a little bit too predominant to be a long distance 10, but I think it'd probably be a solid 9. That is why I sent this one. Yeah, I think since we kind of can clearly see it, I would say that it'd probably be closer to a 9 than a 10. Yeah, I would say that it is. I think it's just too much whitening to be considered a 10. I think this is a pretty strong 9. It's unfortunate. It sucks, but it is what it is. Let's see. Misty's Lapras. Yeah, that's a good point, Kuma. Yeah, the Japanese cards, like how they're manufactured, is held at such a higher standard because their quality control is so much better than in the States. Misty's Lapras. Centering is great. Surface looks great. Corners are good. No problems there. Again, centering on this is really good. Corners look fantastic. Top right, top left, bottom right. I think that this is probably a strong 10 contender. Unless there's any, like, normally I don't see it on Japanese cards, like print lines or any issues with the holo. But I think this is an extremely strong 10. So I'd probably submit this one for sure. I think it's a really good candidate. For sure. And do that. Boom, boom. So yeah, man. I think that's definitely, and honestly, I think that the Misty's Lapras, I think is a good, I think it's a good card to grade. Lapras doesn't really have a lot of good quality, like, big chase cards. They don't make them a lot, and it's associated with Misty. And the artwork's really good. So I think that this one would probably be good to keep an eye out for sure. I think it's a sleeper, in my opinion, but let's see. So next up, and if anyone wants to know how to submit your cards for a future grade review, just let me know. It's a little bit of a process, so I don't want to waste anyone's time, but I'd be more than happy to explain how to do it. It's completely free, by the way. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to help collectors navigate this crazy hobby. And like I said before, guys, if you guys don't know, PSA is soon going to allow us to, like, if there's a card that is valued at 250 or higher, once you purchase the card, you can send it directly to PSA for instant grading versus sending it back to your house or sending it back to wherever. So all the tips that I'm showing, all these tools, all these things that I look for will help you guys translate directly into looking these cards up on eBay for yourself. That's going to be, just as a sneak preview, that's going to be one of the new features I'm going to be adding here in the end of the month, is helping you guys say, hey, like, I'm looking at this listing. It's, you know, a card that's like 300. I really think it can 10. Like, what do you think? And maybe I'll help you out. So that's going to be a a future update to the grade review amongst a lot of other things. So that's a little bit of a sneak peek on what's to come here at the end of the month. So again, all these tools, all these tricks, all these tips are going to translate pretty well for anyone that is trying to look for grading plays. All right, so next up is Stru with a really, I love this Caesar. This artwork is so sick. It's super inexpensive. It's a great artwork. Caesar and just Scyther in general is an incredibly popular Pokemon. It checks a lot of boxes. So this is, again, another good one to look out for. Centering is great. Corners look great. Don't see any print lines. Maybe, I wonder, NG, like, the only thing that I could think of probably be the contrast. There's not, it's kind of, like, it kind of gets washed out a little bit with everything being red. So maybe? But yeah, beautiful. I love this. I love the artwork. Okay, so I don't think the white line on the right. So this looks more like you're talking about this, where it kind of like overlaid in that area from what it looks like. It's almost like a like an ink shift. A little bit. That's a good eye though. It's a little bit of an ink shift. I think ultimately, based off of what I just saw in the back, I'd probably say it wouldn't be, I don't know. I genuinely would not know. I've never seen an ink shift like this before. Because I know, for example, like if there's like ink dots, like during the printing process, if there's like that little like pink dot because they ran out of blue ink or whatever, I'm not too sure how much it would ruin the overall grade of the card. But let's see. But the reason being where I don't think it really would matter is really on the back. So you can kind of see these are pretty predominant. My guess is that these are kind of like what we kind of call like a pack fold. So these are pretty predominant. My guess is that the lighting is making these kind of like glow a little bit more. But these are pretty significant. So you have that one at top left, top right, bottom left. In addition to a little bit of a scratch there across the Pokeball, so a little bit of some surface issues. But yeah, this one I definitely wouldn't grade in terms of trying to get a 10 contender. Honestly, just from if this is whitening, just that alone would probably get you into like, you know, a 7, 8 to a 7 range, probably more of a 7 if that is all predominant whitening. It's pretty crazy that that's like that. Master, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. But yeah, love that artwork. Professor's research. Let's see. It is extremely unlucky for sure, Kuma. And I think that is a really good example of when people ask me like, hey, like, I don't think I deserve this grade, blah, blah, blah. I think the accessibility of GameStop making it a lot easier for us to submit and grade cards, I think is allowing people who know what to look for, giving them a huge advantage. Because if they submit cards and they don't know what to look for and they get back that card as a 7, they're going to be disappointed and ultimately kind of throw their money out the window. But if you know what to look for, then you don't have to kind of get burned by that sense. Preston, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. If you guys want to have a different viewing experience too, I'm also streaming over on Twitch as well. A little bit of a different layout, a little bit more that you can see. So just in case if you want that, that is there. Centering on this bad boy is pretty good. Because again, the supporter section kind of goes over where the traditional line would be, so you kind of have to kind of keep that in mind. But the big thing with the texture cards that it's kind of hard to see during grade review, especially online, is sometimes there might be some like dimples in the texture itself, but again, it's pretty hard to see online. And again, I don't think, and this is, guys, I'm telling you, these are things that we have to keep looking for, especially if you're trying in the future, because I know it's going to happen. When people are going to start looking for cards to grade on eBay, not only do you have to pay attention to the whitening and the basic stuff, but you also have to keep in mind, and this is going to be really nerdy, so you have to kind of keep with me here, is the direction or the source of the light that is being used to take the pictures. So why do I say that? So the reason why I say that is if we look in the top left here, and I'll actually just screenshot this just to make a point. So for example, we're looking at the top left of this card. So you can kind of see that the light source is going to be right in kind of this section, right about here. Right, so you can kind of see light going in this general direction. So with that, I also see that you see this little bit of darkness in this top left corner right about here. So what that tells us is that this is super light and then immediately gets dark. So what happens is that means that it's probably a bend, which is causing a shadow on that left corner, which is going to be the result of this corner having some defect. So when you're looking at cards online, always take note of where the light source is coming from, and if you see any darkness kind of abruptly appearing in this direction of the light source, that tends to mean that there's a shadow, which then means that there's a bend or a crease or something like that that you should be aware of. And that could be on the surface if there's like a bend or a crease or a fold. So all these little things that we have to start paying attention to if you're going to be trying to raw hunt online. So yeah, Kuma, you got it. What grading company is this for? So I only speak on behalf of like PSA, not because for any reason other than I just have always used them, and a lot of my experiences, I've been grading with them since like 2017. A lot of my experiences from that have carried over into what you're seeing now. Because I like to keep track of my accuracy. I have to update the online because I haven't done it in a while, but I definitely need to. Fuse and Mr. Egbert, thank you for the follows. Appreciate that. I got a card. How do I send pics? Once I am done with this research, I'll let you know. Okay, so with that in mind, I think I'm going to lean more on that this is a very, very minor bend or fold in that corner. So aside from that, a little bit of whitening here in the bottom right as well. So I would say, obviously the front is super clean. Right off the bat, I probably wouldn't grade this card if you're looking for a 10. Because again, modern is pretty much 10 or bust. So I'd probably say with that little bend, you're already looking at like a 7. Because the rest of the card is so clean. Because it does look very minimal, but I wouldn't call this near mint plus or a PSA 8. So probably it's a pretty like average 7, I would say, because of that. In addition to a little bit of the whitening, because again, folds, bends, creases have a pretty significant impact on the card. So I probably wouldn't grade that regardless, but probably around a 7. Yeah, so if you guys are wondering how to submit your cards for a future grade review, here is how you do it. So if you guys are watching me on Twitch, the link is going to be in my description. If you're watching me on TikTok, it's going to be in my bio. Once you click the Linktree link in either one of those locations, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon on the top banner. Once you're there, you're going to go and navigate to the grade review channel. You're going to submit your cards in the grade review channel. Again, it's absolutely free and forever will be, but there are some things that come with that. First, it is first come, first serve. So the faster you submit your cards, the faster I'll get them reviewed for you. So definitely don't wait. In addition, I review 5 cards per person per stream. You can submit as many as you'd like. You can submit 20, 30, 40. I don't really care. Just that I will only review up to 5 cards per person per stream. So it'll take a little bit to get all through 30 or 40, but just keep that in mind. Additionally, just read the pinned messages on how to properly submit your cards. For example, I can't review cards that are in top loaders or sleeves or graded slabs or anything like that because I don't know where the scratches are, right? So just got to keep that in mind. However, if you want to support me as a content creator as well as get priority grade review amongst some other perks, the Discord server does offer subscriptions starting at $4.99 and higher. So the higher you go, the more perks you get. And you get priority grade review every Wednesday. I stream every Wednesday. So you can kind of get ahead of the queue if that's something that you want to pursue. So that's how you do it. Jas and GamerGoat, thank you guys for the follows. Appreciate that. So let's go to the Miriam. So a little bit thicker on this right side. And I think we have a fresh new batch of people here, so we'll go over really quick how to measure centering. So again, my suspicion is that this right side is a little bit thicker than the left. So if we do this, we're going to just quickly measure on this right side. So we're going to go from here to here. So I'm just going to reference it as tick marks. I know they're like, millimeters or whatever, but just kind of bear with me. I would say if you are going to measure cards, definitely try to do it in person. But as we move for eBay, being able to immediately send your cards to PSA after you buy it, you're going to have to kind of do this on your own as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 on the right side. So 5.5. And we're going to do the same thing. I only assess cards if they are outside of the top loader or sleeve. That's correct, Em. Yep. So we go here. So then the left side is 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So 4.5. So how we measure centering to see whether or not this card can even have a shot at getting a 10 is we're going to do, not keep hitting the same button. So we have 4.5 tick marks on the left side. And then we're going to add the 5.5 tick marks on the right side. We're going to get 10. So as we can kind of do some really easy math, but just kind of visually, so we just do 5.5 divided by 10. So we have 55. So 55-45 is the ratio. And on paper, that is the absolute maximum threshold that a card can have before falling out of being a PSA 10 contender regarding centering. So this card is just literally on the edge. If it was anything more, so if it was 56 or if it was 56-44, this card would not, on paper, be eligible to receive a PSA 10 grade because the centering would be a 9 instead of a 10. So we have to, luckily this card, based off of what we just looked at, is fortunate enough to be able to be within that threshold. So that's good. And as we flip it over, again, we got to be mindful of the light source, so we're not seeing any shadow or anything like that. So we do see a little bit of a shadow on this side, on this right side. So again, this tells me that the card's a little bit lifted, but that won't be like a major detriment to the grade or anything like that. It's just how it's naturally laying. So not too bad. Corners look good from what I can tell. Top right, top left look good. Bottom left, so maybe a little bit of whitening there, but that might be the table. I'm not too sure. I probably, let's just say for argument's sake that that is on the table and not actually on the card. Bottom edge is good. Bottom right is good. So I would say if this whitening is on the card, obviously, it might be a long distance 10 just because I really can't tell if it's on the table or on the card. So it's very, very minimal in nature. So I'd say it's probably like a long distance 10, maybe a 9. But if that isn't anything, on paper with the centering, you should be good for this to be a potential 10 contender because everything else looks great. I don't really see anything else wrong with it because again, the texture it's pretty hard to see online. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I feel like it has a pretty good shot. And the ultra rare from Obsidian Flames. It's always funny, these gold cards, like, they're very, very hard to pull, but it's like no one wants them. So. And then for all you Lechonk completionists, this one, would this be considered a Lechonk card to get? Who knows? But if you never saw it before, I think that'd be a valid card to add to your collection for that little pig boy right there. Centering looks good. Corners look good. Nothing wrong from what I can tell. And this card, unfortunately, would not get the 10. We have a pretty good amount of whitening let's start it just with the corners. So we have a little bit of whitening up there, and I'm actually going to do what I keep saying. I'm just going to take a snapshot of this because this is going to be worth, I think, highlighting with the pen here. So we have, boom, boom, boom. We have whitening pretty much all over this card. Corner, bottom, 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 bottom. Boom, boom. And yeah, so it's pretty much all over. So we have the top right, have some whitening here. We have 1, 2, 3 points of whitening on the top. Have a little bit of fuzz here by where my hand is. I didn't see the Lechonk before. Oh, there you go, NG. Well, if you're a Lechonk collector, master set collector, that's the one you need. A little bit of some here. We can probably just clean that off. Once I'm done with the basic energy lightning, I'll go over how to submit your cards, Caden and Bully. Just give me 1 second, my friends. I appreciate you asking, though. Yeah, so we have more whitening here on the bottom left. So it's pretty significant. So, you know, the first quick question, will this card 10? No, it will not 10. Just due to the whitening on the back. So I would say, you know, we're out of that range where I don't think, you know, there is a pretty substantial amount of whitening. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points of very, very minor whitening. With the exception, an argument could be made with the corners. So I would probably say, you know, that this card, you'd probably get anywhere from an 8 to a 7. I probably would lean more towards a 7, but very, very strong 7. I think that this is a lot of whitening for it to be considered near mint plus, in my opinion. And in addition, what I have highlighted in the top left, I think that can just be simply wiped off with like a microfiber cloth or something like that. So that's why I kind of don't really highlight it too much. But I'd probably lean more towards that 7. And in general, excuse me, I probably wouldn't grade it. I don't think it would get a 10. So just kind of keep that in mind. I don't know what it's called, Aiden, unfortunately. But because again, like I know that there's a ton. I know I think I've had people tell me about 5 different ones. So I'm sure if you just look one up, I'm sure one of them will come up. And then for the basic energy, centering is good. Corners are good. Surface looks fine. This card is actually pretty difficult to grade. To be quite honest, it's very, very yellow and very gold. But this one in particular has all these like little, I don't even know what these are. These little like white specks on kind of the surface. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I think those can probably be wiped off. Once I'm done with this, Bully, I'll go over. That top right corner looks good. Top left corner looks fine. There's also what this appears to be probably some surface issues here. So right on this left edge, and I think we'll do the same thing. We'll mark it up so you guys can see it a little bit better on stream. So probably go like right here. So this will probably impact the surface grade of the card. So we have like right here. So right in that area, we have a little bit of some surface issues. Additionally, we have a little bit here as well. So in that section, so you have those 2 kind of abrasions on the surface. And I think that should be it. So I think, yeah, I think with those surface abrasions here on that left edge and the middle, Guppy, what's going on? And I think these also would probably be some indicators of like that surface being removed a little bit, because they seem a little bit too much of like surface abrasion and like less of something you just wipe off. Additionally, we have a little bit of whitening here in the bottom right-hand corner. So I don't think that this would get the 10. I don't think it would get a 9. Maybe an 8 to a 7. Probably leaning more towards the 8 than the 7, assuming that these can get wiped off. But I think the surface is going to cause you some issues, especially this one near the end. That's a little bit more predominant. In addition, a little bit of whitening in that bottom right-hand corner. So yeah, I'd probably lean more towards an 8 than a 7 on that one. Depending on whether or not you can remove this stuff on the top. So now, Let's see. I'm doing good, Guppy. I have a question. How checking out my cards on the app or website? If you're talking about grade review, I'm going to go over that in a second. Yeah, maybe I am that, like, that old guy. That's what NG, I feel like when I get to, like, episode, like, 100, I'm going to just turn into the restoration dude from Toy Story 2. That's what I'm going to look like. Be all shaky. I can't even speak properly anymore. Sluck, Isabel, Kid, Guppy, thank you. Who are you looking for? Thanks for the follows, guys. Appreciate that. And Alberto, thank you for the follow. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering how to submit your cards for a future grade review, here is the rundown. So if you guys are watching me on Twitch, which I'm also streaming on as well, the link is going to be in the description. If you're watching me on TikTok, it's going to be in the bio. You're going to then go to my link tree. From here, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon and navigate to the grade review channel. In the grade review channel is where you'll submit your cards front and back. For a free grade review, it will always be free. But a few things to consider. First, I do it by a first come, first serve. So the faster you can submit your cards, the faster and sooner it will be reviewed. In addition, you can submit as many cards as you want, but I'll only review up to 5 cards per person per stream. So just keep that in mind. In addition, make sure to read the pinned messages in the grade review channel to learn about the rules. For example, I can't look at a card that's in a top loader or a penny sleeve or a graded slab because if there's a scratch, if there's a blemish, if there's something, I don't know if it's on the plastic, the card guard or whatever. It has to be in a way that I can review it properly. However, Crit, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. If you guys want priority grade review, because there are some people who want to sell these cards faster or want to kind of grade these cards faster, the Discord server does offer a priority grade review along with some other things by subscribing in the Discord. Subscriptions start at $4.99 and up. So not only do you get priority grade review, but you get a lot of other cool perks like being entered in monthly Discord giveaways and a bunch of other stuff. I actually have a few subscribers in tonight's stream, so if they want to, you know, kind of advocate for it, they're more than welcome to. But yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, so next up, let's see. I've never sent a card for grading. I want to, but I'm afraid I'd lose my cards. That's definitely a big concern, Guppy. I would say, you know, probably one of the best things to happen in the hobby, in my opinion, for accessibility, is if you have a GameStop. GameStop will submit your cards on your behalf. I know it kind of adds that extra layer of, well, it's someone else handling it and whatever, but that is an option for folks. But I would say, in addition, if you want help, just let us know in the Discord. There's a lot of community members in the Discord. I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction. I know I just helped someone not too long ago send them a link on how to properly assess an error for PSA. So, but yeah, definitely send some pics, and if you need help, just definitely let us know in the general chat or the media or whatever. At the end of the day, this community, the channel that I've tried to cultivate, is trying to help everyone kind of navigate, because there's a lot of information getting thrown at us, and I'm trying to do my best to help everyone out. Do you think you could grade cards to see? Oh, I've definitely, NG, I've definitely had people submit cards in past grade reviews to go for the anti-10 or the PSA 1. So I've reviewed someone who like lit a Wingull card ablaze, and I told them probably wouldn't get the PSA 1. But we have seen some crazy damage cards for sure, and we've definitely given the lucrative PSA 1 contender grade before. So I've definitely seen it. Okay. So we have the Vaporeon EX Terra. Let's see. So centering is good. Corners are great. Texture looks fine. It's really just the centering which I'm mostly concerned with. And based off of this picture, the back looks good. I don't see any whitened corners. So far, so good, my friend. I think this is a good one. I think this would be a pretty good 10 contender. I don't see any glaring issues with it. The front and the back look fine. Corners look fine on the front and the back, so I'd probably submit that for sure. Next up is the Gardevoir. I actually just submitted a Gardevoir myself not too long ago. And then for those of you who don't know about the other hidden Pokemon in this, we have the Wooper, Shocked. We also have the Electric Rats, the Electric Squirrels, chilling, hanging. And I think those are the only two. That's my mascot right there. Look at that. The shocked and awe face. So if you guys have never seen those, that's where they are. Centering on this looks good. Corners look good from what I can tell. Surface looks fine. Trevor, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Let's see. Surface on this looks good. Corners look good. Edges look good. I think, unless I'm missing something, I think the only thing... No, that's part of the background. I think you have a solid... Again, I think you have a pretty solid shot at a 10 here. What's this? Well, Panda... What a name. Panda Express Delivery. This is grade review. I help the community assess cards for PSA, like to see whether or not what your PSA grade would get, or what the possibility of it is. And it's completely free. I do it for the community every week. In Shane, thank you for the follow. Bottom right back. Are you talking about this? This is kind of what appears to be probably like on like a raised surface, which is kind of casting the shadow, would be my guess. But I don't really see much. This is just a shadow, would be my guess. But the right edge. Might be lighting. You're probably talking about this section right here. Would be my guess. You're probably talking... Let's see. So bottom right. So my guess is that you're probably talking about this section. I could be wrong, but I feel like you're talking about this section. And it looks like there's whitening on the corner. Like right on the corner. I mean, I don't know. Let's see, guys. What do you think? Whitening or nah? Whitening or nah, chat? Not on the corner. So I have... So see that right there? Looks like the white speck. Like mid, right side. Alright. The only thing I can think of is, like, if I zoom out, it's probably the artifacting of the camera would be in this section. Unless I'm completely blind on what you're asking me. Unless it's this, which is probably just something that can get wiped off. But let's see. I'm probably making you so angry that I don't know what I'm seeing. Because we have this too. We have these little bits of, but this to me, this is as far, man, as I can zoom in without it literally looking like a Minecraft episode 2. So maybe this is what you're talking about, possibly that. But I don't know. I know you're saying right and little down right there. This is the only thing that I can think of. But this might just be like the combination of the phone and like the layout. I mean, that could be. Might have to get some clarification, but I would say if this, in fact, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Right here. But yeah, I definitely can see you're not crazy. That's what I'll say. You are not crazy. I can definitely see what you are talking about. But I think, you know, it can kind of go both ways, to be quite honest with you. It could probably be a lighting effect. It could be a camera effect just because of like how grainy it kind of like the background is and whatnot too. So it can kind of go both ways. But the fact that we got there, Kuma, is good. We got there. But I feel like I was about to make you go absolutely insane there in a second. It should, Kuma, it definitely should pass the eye test. We literally looked at every molecule in there. Johnny, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Which Discord chat to send it in? It's going to be the grade review. It's going to be the grade review channel. All right, NG, waiting patiently. Finally, in caps. Let us take a look. And the nice thing is, if you guys are submitting cards for a future grade review, it always helps, too, to be in the actual stream. Because in that way, if there are things that I see or I'm looking at, you guys can kind of confirm or deny some of the observations that I'm making. So let's take a look at this Rayquaza V. Very, very popular. From Evolving Skies, so we got to be careful here. Because we don't want NG to cry for Evolving Cries. So let's see. Centering looks good so far. So here are the first things that I notice. So first off, we see a little bit of, again, where I was talking about the lighting here. I'm not sure if this is a fold or something like that. That might not be. But these ones on the side, I'm a little nervous about, to be quite honest with you. Only because, and here's kind of my reasoning until you prove me otherwise. So my reasoning is we can kind of see, again, light source kind of in this general section here. So like from here to here, kind of going in this general direction. But we have in this section here, we have a little bit of some dark folding here, what appears to be, as well as here. So to me, in this section here, those look like folds on that side edge. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but just due to the fact that this red section, and I can kind of go without it being altered here. So the fact that the light is kind of coming here unfazed, but then there's immediate shadows on the bottom and the top of that light source lends me to believe that this might need to try to get pressed down a little bit, or try to correct. It could be fixable, for sure, Kuma. It could be fixable. But that is something that I notice almost instantly, which, if that is the case, that's not very good, unfortunately. Looks like finger marks pressing too hard. I mean, that's a good kind of way to put it. There might be on the top. Okay. There's no folds on the side. Okay. Give me $50? It's not even my card, Zanny. I'll take your $50. Celine, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. And on the back, this one tricked me, I think. The thumbnail tricked me. This one's a little bit too fuzzy to really look at. So that one I can't really review too much. But I would say this one, you know, I'd say if there is any degree of folding, especially if you're talking about on the top left, it probably wouldn't get the 10 if there is any degree of folding. But that'd be because you're talking about the top here, and that probably wouldn't do us any well, or do us any good rather. So a little whitening, but no folds. So whitening would probably make it not get the 10, especially from the Rayquaza V. With the whitening, I don't think it would get the 10 if it's up here on the back. So it's kind of unfortunate, obviously, because it's a pretty big card. But if there is a little bit of whitening and a little bit of folding, I don't think it'd get the 10. Probably a 9. Even like probably an 8 depending on the severity of the fold. Once I'm done with NG submission, Sully, I'll make sure to go through how to submit your cards. Celebi promo. A little bit thicker on that right side, but let's kind of do a quick measurement here on what that is. And I know it's not the most accurate, but for streaming purposes, it's a good way to kind of show you guys what to do with your own cards in person here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that right side. And we got, let's see, on the left side, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we add the left and the right. We have 9. And then we divide one of the sides by 9. So 5 divided by 9. So you better hope that you have a good grader. Because if they round down, you're within the range. So you're, 54, 46. But if they round up, so 56, would it be 56-44? You're technically out of that 10 range. Or if they just leave it alone and they just do 55-45. So you better slip them a $5 bill in your submission. But I don't know. So right off the bat, I see this. So I see a little bit of a ding there, like on the top border here, right above where the B is. So we have a little bit of a nick there. So right off the bat, we're kind of like in a, 8 range, I would say, like 8 at best. Because we also have what appears to be something on the bottom here. Also by the way, the back of the Rayquaza is pristine, so I'm not worried about you not grading it. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's what I figured, because normally if I don't see like the back of like a modern card, chances are, if it's not predominantly whitening or whatever. So we have a little bit of a nick on the bottom here as well. So I think so far pretty strong 8. But let's flip it over. And I do not know what that is. You're going to definitely have to help us out here. On whether or not this is like something that can or cannot be removed. And I'm looking at very specifically this right there. So that I don't know. I don't know if those are like small little impacts. I don't know if that's dirt or debris. So the best case scenario that's just simply dirt or something that you can just like remove with like a microfiber cloth, a little bit of distilled water, or like a Q-tip of something of that nature. Jeremy and C, thank you guys for the follows. Appreciate that. But if it's like indents, then that's no bueno. But top right corner looks fine. Top left looks okay from what I can tell. It's starting to get a little bit darker, but we also see some whitening. So let's take this. We have, boom. We got 1, 2. Man, I'm like really squinting. You guys on Twitch are probably looking at me like, what on earth am I doing? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of whitening on the bottom. And that on the top. So I would say, with the dings on the front and we have 5 points of whitening on the back, you're probably, I would say that you're definitely not like PSA 6 range for sure. So it's only, so like your kind of parameters are going to be within like a 7 or an 8. If, and the big if you can get this off. If you can get this off, assuming that like what you're saying is true, this looks like Among Us. If you can get rid of this here, then you're looking pretty good. But if that is too sussy and we gotta leave that on there, then you're probably gonna be like a 6 or worse. But definitely some sussy behavior here. So. And now this is a drawing stream. And we gotta, there we go. So Among Us is the sussy. So not too good here. So yeah, I'd probably say, if you can get rid of that, I'd probably say a 7. Would be my guess. The sussy, we'll call that the sussy stain. That's the sussy stain. All right, the gold big boy himself. Probably one of the few golds that people actually really like. I feel like Snorlax is cool, and the contrast is really. This card, I feel like, really demonstrates the importance of good contrast. Brett, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. So it's definitely dirt. Okay. Yeah, he just pops so good, and this again. Like color palettes, and that's why so many people dog on shiny variants in Pokemon, because they just don't understand palettes. But this Snorlax, the contrast is so good. Again, one of the very few cards that people like from the gold rarity. So let's take a look. I think we're good on the centering. The left side looks fine compared to the right. I think we're in that range, so. Top bottom looks fine. Because I think this up here, like this darker section, just looks like texturing and just how the lighting's taking it. Maybe something here on the top. Maybe something there on the top. But again, that might be texture. Left heavy. Alright, Poke. You know what? Let's see. Let's see. Is it worth doing this? Let's take a look. I definitely agree with you. The left side is heavy, but are we within the 55-45? Let's take a look. Poke is betting it all on the line. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left. And we got, boom. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Like just shy. Maybe you're right. So we got 5 divided by 9. So we're getting there. So if we're rounding those numbers, this would go from 6, boom, 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 to 56. Recenter the right. Sure. Let's do it. So right from here to here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Let's see. Brother, we are talking pixels here, all right? I'm using the snipping tool. So we got 1, 2, 3, and like, sure, 3.96. Sure, why not? That's 3.96. There you go. You got me, chat. You got me. Hands up. So, what am I doing? I'm being a fraudster. Ethan caught me. Ethan caught me. Who else caught me? Space City caught me. Pokeboy caught me. You know what, guys? Forgive me. Forgive me, fathers, for I have sinned. I have repented. I have repented my sins. I'll never use the snipping tool's name in vain ever again. Forgive me. Polies, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So what's the rating? Well, so now that chat's done flaming me for using the snipping tool, I will go over that in a second here, Sully. So I know, shame. So right now, technically with the 3.96 repeating, of course, on the right side, the highest this card can be is a 9, technically. I appreciate that, Mark. At the end of the day, these Wednesday streams are meant to, I like to try to answer and kind of clear as much as I can be as transparent as I can. Anyway, so the only thing, NG, if you don't mind clarifying, I don't know on the top right here or on this left side if those are dings or just kind of, because I know sometimes the texturing of this card, especially with the light source coming from the top, might be making this appear as though it's like a dent or a ding or something. But yeah. Sebastian, thank you for the follow. And on the back, so something like this, and again, if it pleases the court, if I can use the snipping tool once more, if it pleases the court, this right here. So that little white speck in the top right corner, probably can just be wiped off with like a microfiber or something like that. Once I'm done with this car, or once I'm done with the Electivire mat, I'll go over how to submit your cards. I do see that. I've redeemed myself. So something like that can probably just be wiped off. So I'm not going to really worry too much about this specifically. The centering on the back looks okay. Edges look fine from what I can tell from the picture. So I would say, you know, with the centering on the front, the back looks fine. There's definitely more leeway on the back, and I think you can probably just wipe this off. I think from the centering, if that is, you know, obviously do it in person too, kind of all jokes aside. Just measure that on the left side compared to the right. If it's within 55-45, great. If it's outside of it, you're probably going to be at best 9. I pulled an Umbreon, however, unsure if he'll get a PSA 10 due to a super small spec. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. It's really unfortunate, but sometimes it's just the way it goes. I mean, we just hit 100 watchers, 100 viewers on TikTok. What's going on, guys? I appreciate it very much. Right now, we're doing some grade review, helping the community assess their cards on what they might get as a PSA grade. So actually, once I'm done with this for Alligator, before I hit the Electivire, I'll tell you guys how to submit your cards. So centering on this one, I can tell. Ooh, NG, that is a nice swirl. For all you swirl enjoyers, I too am a swirl enjoyer. So that's a nice one by the arm there. The Crooked, thank you for the follow. Nerd, thank you for liking the live. Appreciate you guys very much. So the top is definitely thicker than the bottom. So we do have that going against us. In addition, we also have, and I think I'm going, because I'm going to be making some markups here, because there are some things that are present on this bad boy. So we do have a little ding right there on the top. So as we go along the left edge here, possibly something there. Cyrus, thanks for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Bottom edge, super thin. What appears to be possible... this one's kind of tough, because I don't know if it's just like the artifacting of the camera or some possible whitening on this kind of like left edge here. So if we kind of do like from here to probably around here, kind of go right. So like in that section, there might be some possible whitening, but kind of hard to tell. Fun Monkey, I'll grade you. You are a PSA 10. Pristine. Jeff, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. The one on the top is, but the one on the bottom isn't there. Okay. But aside from that, I don't see anything in the text. Normally for these older cards, you might see some like scratches or something like that. But the holo looks fine. And it might be a little, it might look a little bit better too if you guys are on Twitch. You might be able to see some of that. The same name over there as well. PokeTrip, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. But yeah, I don't see any hollow scratches, at least from this perspective. So really the only two things I see is it's off-center. We have minor whitening in the bottom left-hand corner, a pretty like notable ding in the top center edge, and the one on the top is, but the one on the bottom isn't there. And then there's also some whitening here on the right side. So I'd say like just from that alone, I wouldn't call that near mint plus, especially with that ding on the top. So at best, you're probably looking at like a PSA 7. But we're probably going to be diving into a 6 really soon here. So on the back is a little, let's see. I was going to say a little bit rougher, but not actually as I'm zooming in here. So the centering is okay. Again, pretty much the same thing like the front was, but kind of migrated to the back. But really what's notable is this kind of larger whitening section here on the top. So we definitely have a little bit more kind of being taken away here. But aside from that, it's funny, the corners are actually in pretty good shape, as well as the edges on the back. So the top right looks good, top left looks good. And as we kind of go across here, Maybe a little bit of whitening there on the bottom left-hand corner, but that's a little bit too hard to make a call on. Bottom edge, I think, looks fine. Bottom right looks good. So I'd probably say that this might be more in the range of like a 6. I mean, it might be 7 or a 6, but like with something that's like a little bit more noticeable here on the top, specifically, like on that backside, I think most people wouldn't say that that would be near mint in addition to like this little ding here on the top. So we're probably, but aside from that, there's no creases. There's nothing crazy. I also can't see if there's any scratches on the hollow. So I'd probably being like leaning more towards a 6 than a 7. But if your grader had a really good night beforehand, might be getting the 7, but I'd probably be more conservative, especially with how much of like a chunk is kind of taken out of here. But the rest of the back is really clean. I think a 6 would be more warranted, in my opinion. So before we go to the Electivire, I will go over, I saw a few people wondering how to submit your cards for a grade review. So this is how you do it. So if you guys are watching me on Twitch, which I'm also streaming on, that is going to be in the description. If you're watching me on TikTok, it's going to be in my bio. So once you click the bio link, you're going to go to the Discord icon. So you're either going to click or tap that. Next, you're going to go to the grade review channel. So you'll submit your cards in the grade review channel. Again, this service is completely for free. I stream every Wednesday and do this every Wednesday starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So once you're in the grade review channel in the Discord, you can submit as many cards as you want for free. But the only catches is that it is a first come, first serve. So if you guys want your cards assessed faster, I recommend submitting those pictures as soon as you can. In addition, you can submit as many as you want, but I'll only review up to 5 cards per person per stream. So that way, not one person is dominating the entire stream. In addition, just make sure to read the pinned messages on how to properly submit your cards for a grade review. For example, I can't review cards that are in a top loader or a sleeve, stuff like that, or even in a graded slab. So just kind of be mindful of that. However, if you want your cards assessed faster for priority, if you're looking to sell them or whatever else you want to do with them and you just want it assessed faster, the Discord does offer a subscription starting at $4.99 and higher, which not only gives you priority grade review, but also gives you some other cool perks as well as being entered into a monthly Discord giveaway. So if that interests you, I definitely appreciate it, but it's not required, but that is there if you want it. Jose, thank you for the follow. Queue is closed for tonight, Alan. So if you want your card assessed sooner rather than later, if you haven't already, definitely submit your cards in the grade review channel. So queue is closed tonight. Electivire. This one is a big one. So let's take a look. So the Electivire centering actually looks pretty good. Corners look good. So with these cards specifically, anything with like the hollow silver edge is very prone to scratches. Very, very prone. So top looks fine. Left edge looks good. Bottom left corner looks good. Bottom edge looks good. Bottom right corner looks good. And then top right edge looks good. So based off of what you've sent so far so good. The text looks really clean. No major scratches that we can see. So really good shape there. Now in terms of the hollow, from the pictures that you sent, I do not see any noticeable scratches or any issues like that, especially on the Electivire. I don't see any scratches on the Electivire at all. But then just one more quick look. So far from the front, looks really good. So far so good. Now on the back, let's take a look. So centering, a little bit thicker on the right side than it is on the left, but again, the back is a little bit more lenient. And then I know this is probably giving you some scary ideas with me bringing out the snipping tool, but we're going to take a look here. So possible whitening here on the top right. So right there. So as we go across, it's a little bit difficult to see if there's any whitening on this this very lightened edge. But we can kind of see what I was talking about before. So there's a little bit, and it might be super hard for you guys to see on stream, but you'll have to kind of bear with me here. So right here on this right corner, so we have a little bit of some shadowing here, kind of leading up to this top left corner and leading to this edge. So there might be some very minor folding here on that top left side. So we're kind of be going from here to there, and then probably from like here to here. What appears to be some minor folding, but we'll take a look. So we're kind of going down the left edge here now. And we are seeing some whitening in this bottom left section. So we have one, got like kind of like in this that general area. Actually, I'll just do this here, I think. So from here to here, boom. So that in there has a little bit of whitening from that entire section. We also have some here. Good chunk kind of in that section there. Possibly one here. And as we go up the right side on the back, edge looks good. Possibly one there. I wouldn't say like important, but it's the back is definitely less picky than the front. Why do the back of the cards get damaged the most? I think it's because, you know, like if you, like, I don't know why the back specifically. I would say the contrast, so like white to blue is a lot easier to identify for whitening, whereas like if you're looking at the front of the Electivire, just as an example, it blends in a lot better, and there's like that extra layer that sits on top that's a more holographic in nature, so a little bit more resilient, if that makes sense, from whitening versus kind of the standard card stock that's just present on the back of a card. So that'd be kind of like my guess. Okay, so we have what appears to be whitening on the top right, a little bit of some shadowing here on the top left corner, and what appears to be a little bit here as well. Hathaway, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. We also have a pretty good chunk of whitening here on the bottom left side, as well as some whitening in the bottom middle and the bottom right corner. So I would say, so the first thing I would say is the front is in extremely good shape. However, with the back, I don't know if it would get, like, I don't think it would get a 9, I don't think it would get a 10, but I don't think it would get a 6. So we're in kind of the 8 to 7 range at the moment. So I would say, you know, if this is, because actually, let me rephrase this. So if this is a bend, or if this is like a fold to some degree, and we can't get that flattened out in the top left, I'd probably argue that this would get a 6. It's very, very mild in nature because it almost looks like a pack fold, which we're kind of seeing more and more with Modern. So with that, in addition to the whitening, I'd probably get a 6 because it kind of loops around this top left edge. If that is not there, if that is not present, I think that if someone were to ask me, do I think this card is near mint plus or near mint, I would probably say that this card is more near mint than near mint plus, which would result in this card getting a 7 as opposed to an 8. Just more for the fact that this bottom left side has some whitening. The bottom middle and the bottom right, in addition to some whitening on possibly on that side and possibly on the top right side. You know, obviously I want to be wrong to give you like the 8, but those are kind of some of the observations that I've seen on the back specifically. That'd probably be more towards a 7 than an 8 would be my guess. Just the kind of the power, the overall impact of whitening. It's crazy. I know it sucks, but that's just kind of. But I just posted my card. How long is the wait? You think there's just one card? So Sully, if you look at the thread, the episode 70 thread, you can see where I left off last. And typically I review 15 to 20 cards per stream because I like to give an in-depth analysis of these cards. I don't like to blow through them. I appreciate that, NG. Clint, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. And so, yeah. So if you guys, again, if you guys are just tuning in, if you guys want to submit your cards for a future grade review, just click the link in the bio. Once you're at my link tree, you're just going to click or tap the Discord icon and just submit your pictures in the grade review channel. It's completely free. It is first come, first serve. So just keep that in mind. But if you want priority grade review, the Discord server does offer subscriptions starting at $4.99, and it gives you priority grade review along with some other cool stuff. I like this channel because I learn. Well, thank you, Sully. I appreciate that. And so now that we are, let me just make sure that we're good. So now that we're kind of wrapping up, what's going on, chat? Hopefully you guys are, appreciate you guys hanging out. Got a show coming up on Sunday. I'm actually prepping a lot of cards for the show. So we got a ton of bangers for this Sunday's show. So these are actually going to be posting in a video here on probably Friday, probably be doing a stream. But here's some of just the cards that I've been working on the side. So. Oh yeah, Delta Species Mew. I got a, where is it? I got cards literally all over the place. I have this bad boy. Crystal Reverse Ho-Oh. Literally cards all over the place. Anime, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Do you put the grades you give in the Discord? Sometimes I do. I also have, if you go to my YouTube, all my VODs get immediately uploaded once the stream's done. So I stream every Wednesday. So typically I stream every Wednesday, starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So that's always consistent. I'll probably stream either Friday or Saturday to kind of go over my inventory that I'm bringing up to a show on Sunday. That's why I'm kind of getting off a little bit early, because I do have a show that I have to prepare for. So you can kind of see all these cards back here. I'm kind of alphabetizing and kind of labeling and stuff. So I got like a bunch of cards that I still have to process. So all this stuff that you're seeing is all going to be and more for the show this Sunday. So. Tristan, thanks for the follow. Where's the show at? It's in, so I'm based out of New York. So it's going to be in Albany. So at the Albany Capitol Center. It's a nice little local show. Got a lot of pretty good singles, a lot of good raw stuff that I'm super excited to hopefully sell. I feel like I got 2 10s, the Garchomp and Mewtwo. Let's see. The Garchomp and the the Mewtwo from last time. I'm going through, because that was the Mewtwo V-Star, right? I think those are the 2 that I think I assessed as 10s. Oh, there you go, NG. Well, you should pull up, man. I'll be there. It's June. What is that? June 8th. So June 8th, I think from 9 to 3. It's a pretty good show. It just started last year, and it's already got a pretty good following. So, I mean, that's kind of the case a lot right now. A lot of new shows are popping up, and it's kind of crazy. I've been trying to keep up with it and trying to do streaming and trying to keep up with inventory. I just one of the crazy things that I'll probably talk about in a different video is, like, for example, this Zekrom. One of the things I'll probably talk about is inventorying, probably in a future video. So this Zekrom, I just inventoried and put on a barcode. So I have barcodes on all my cards that are 25 and up for better inventory tracking, how much I've paid, what my costs are, stuff like that. How I know if my card get graded. So I always notify everyone when their card is up for assessment. So if you don't have like notifications on, definitely turn them on. Additionally, once this stream is done, I always upload my YouTube VODs instantly. So again, if you're watching me on Twitch or YouTube, those VODs will be immediately uploaded once the stream is done. And those links can also be found in my bio, in my link tree. So those will, again, once the stream is done, all that will be... So if you can't make the live, it'll be available for you to watch later. And I try to do a good job at kind of listing what I think they would get to at the same time. But yeah. And I'd say some of the cards that I'm probably excited to look for at this show to kind of get like an insight on what I like to look for. Starmie V is probably a good one to look for. And Umbreon Gold Stars. Those are going to be kind of my targets for the show. I already have a good chunk of them from last show, but can't have too many Starmie Vs and Umbreons. But that sounds, I think 7. I think one of them I thought at worst could get a 6 though. But I honestly, I'm not trying to be mean, but I honestly can't remember. Because I kind of fly through them. But like I said, the VOD will be uploaded as the moment the stream is done, so. The Celebi, I think, was a... Because there's the 2 dings. I think it was going to be a 7, I think. Because there's 2 dings. There's 1 ding on the top, 1 ding on the bottom. There's something wrong with the back. If I remember. I don't know if I'm even remembering correctly, but yeah, so that's probably what I'm going to be doing here soon. I'm going to be getting some cards ready for the show on Sunday, so that's why I'm kind of ending it a little bit early, because I got a lot of inventory to do. But I feel like you're trying to bait me, NG, with the brain rot meme. The 6-7. Nice try. First I get flamed about my snipping tool not being measured right, and now you're memeing me. I see what you're doing, NG. I'm on my guard. Can't catch me like that. My brain rot is at another level, my friend. Don't tempt me. If you guys have never seen the pad before, I have my OG collection from when I was a kid. So all that's all my original collection growing up. Probably see it a little bit better on Twitch, and you can see my cat. There she is. It's a little fake cat. It's Faye. It's kitty cat. It's little Faye. Named after Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop. Big Cowboy Bebop guy. So now she's taking over the stream. So yeah. Alright guys, well I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. What's my most prized card? I think like sentimental value, probably the birthday Pikachu. Like the actual like real one, not the celebrations one. But prized, I don't know. I honestly, that's one of the main reasons why I like being a vendor is I consider all the things that I sell as like my collection. So I think it's kind of cool to like now Faye's hair is literally all over the place. CJ, thanks for the follow over on Twitch. If you guys want to check me out on Twitch too, you got to see a lot more. What's going on? See more of the room. Yeah, I think my entire kind of inventory is like my prize possession. I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but I like it. I like although I am starting you guys are kind of seeing all the video ideas I'm going to be making here soon, but one of the things that I kind of wanted to start, because I didn't really have like a collection goal as I was vending, but I decided to start collecting all of the like the e-reader or like the EX cards. So these are all cards that I've picked up, and I'll pay a little bit more too for cards that are actually going to like complete this collection. So that's kind of the start of my old school EXs. I know it's really kind of a scuffed way to show it here, but that's kind of my progress of the old school EXs so far. I do not. Everything that you just saw is everything that I have so far. So as long as it's like not like damaged or like a good binder copy, my goal is to finish it. So that's I think EXs, like the first EXs are such a cool, cuz like I'm like a big tech guy, and like the old way of trying to do like CGI I think is really interesting. I got it, you don't. I know, man. That's maybe that's your prized possession is the Delcatty EX. Look at you flexing on me. I review your cards, and you're just flexing on me the whole time. What's up, CJ? Came over from TikTok. Awesome. But yeah, NG, if you're around the Albany area, pull up, man. I'll be there. Probably super tired, but I'll be there. But anyway, guys, really crazy stream today. Super appreciative all the likes, follows, and shares. You guys, again, I like to just do this stuff just to hang out with you guys and do my best to help navigate everyone through these trying times. At the end of the day, we're all collectors trying to just collect shiny cardboard, and that's really all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be people beating each other up over at Costco's. You know what I mean? So, definitely appreciate it. It really does mean the world that you guys like to pull up and hang out for an hour and a half. A little bit shorter today because I have to prepare for a Sunday show. And yeah, I will be back on Wednesday for episode 71, starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern if you're on the Discord. I have the events also saved, so you can go there as well to set a reminder, just in case you don't want to miss it. And yeah, appreciate the love, support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.